Welcome to the Emotional Balance Sheet, the go-to podcast for parents with multiple kids, especially those with twins, triplets, or more, who are navigating the maze of modern family life and personal finance. Whether you're overwhelmed by education or retirement planning, parenting dilemmas, career transitions, or trying to define your purpose and plan, we're here to guide you with empathy, encouragement, and expertise. Hosted by Paul Fenner, founder of Tama Capital, a certified financial planner and parent to 4 kids, including a set of triplets. Our podcast is your ally in the quest for financial peace of mind, proving that money matters, but family comes first. Subscribe now and join our community of empowered parents at tamacapital.com. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Clients of Tama may retain positions in the securities discussed in this podcast.
What does comprehensive financial planning even mean? At Tama Capital, it means a family office where lifestyle planning such as retirement, college, portfolio management, and tax prep and planning are all under one umbrella. But it goes beyond numbers. We focus as much on the emotional side of financial planning as we do on the financial side. We get you. We understand your challenges of building a family, business or career, and a healthy life. We are devoted to wealth planning for families like yours because we are you. Learn how our family can help your family by visiting tamacapital.com. Hi, and welcome back. There's a question I've been wrestling with lately, and it's this. Have we given money a job that it can't do? So let me expand on that for a second. If we have anxiety or fears, do we expect, want money to help solve that fear, remove that anxiety? Obviously, there's a certain amount of money that makes you comfortable in life. You know, the often quoted statistic, I think by Vanguard actually, was $75,000. In any amount that you make above that, it doesn't really impact your happiness. It doesn't necessarily take away your fear or anxieties around money. And if we think about fear and anxiety, as we just if you just let me focus on that for a minute, is those are both emotions. Money is a number. And so we're trying to potentially have a number solve an emotion. And I don't think it necessarily works that way. And obviously I have Dr. Jennifer Dragonette, who's our resident expert psychologist and therapist, on once a month to talk about these situations, these emotions, these types of topics. And I think I got on this because I'm currently reading Carl Richards' new book, Your Money. And what's really great, if you don't know Carl, he had a weekly column in the New York Times for nearly 10 years. And his book is so fascinating because all it is, well, I shouldn't say all it is, but it's sketches. It's 101 of his favorite sketches that he did over the years. And what Carl's unique ability was when he was writing and an advisor was to be able to draw a sketch and in a couple, sometimes even sentences, but paragraphs, really explain how this thing we call money intersects with our emotions. And quite honestly, this is how I came up with the idea or the title of this podcast, The Emotional Balance Sheet. And it's a play on our emotions. It's a play on the financial, term balance sheet, because our lives are so intersected between our emotions, our fears, our hopes, our anxieties, and how we feel about money and how those work together. Because if money or a number is a destination, I don't know if we ever get there. Because as Morgan Housel often puts, one of the hardest things in life is to get the goalpost to stop moving. Because once you hit one level of happiness or money, then what's the next level? And what's the next level after that? And that's where I think it becomes challenging when I sit down with families and we talk about purpose and objectives or goals. It's hard because you're trying to create a vision and how you support that vision with your money, with your financial life. And I think it's really hard to get your arms wrapped around that, especially depending on what life stage you're in. For the most part, I work with a lot of families that are in the life stage that Teresa and I are in right now, where we're trying to raise, our kids, whether that's from kindergarten to college. And there's a phrase that I'm saying more and more often. It's kind of related to sports, is that parenting, there is no off season. So if you think about we're in football season right now. Football season, you're in season, but then there's an off season where you take time to step back, reanalyze what's going on, train, improve. But it's a slow time. And I don't think when it comes to parenting, there are any slow times anymore. It's a full contact sport year round. And so it's hard to say, you know what, I'm going to take the time to think about my purpose, my objectives, and how to support that with the financial aspects of my life. Because money is a number. Enough is a story. So what are the stories that we are telling ourselves? And how does that impact the number, our money? And so, as usual, these are things that I grapple with every day in my own personal life and the lives of the families at TAMA that I work with. But I see it more and more as I've been an advisor even longer now, that when you can get your arms wrapped around this and have this vision, and that vision can always change. Your purpose really doesn't, or not that often, but your objectives still do. It goes back to my phrase with Morgan Housel about keeping the goalposts from moving. It's a nearly impossible task, but one that if you could find what enough is, I think it makes life much more enjoyable. Now that you've made it to the end of another great conversation, are you looking for more? If so, head over to tamacapital.com, where you will find all of our conversations. Use the search feature to find the topic or guest you would love to learn more about. Also, don't forget to make someone else's day by sharing our show. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.